Met my ex when I was 15 years old at my male best friend's 16th birthday party. The distinction on male is important for later in the story. My ex and my best friend had been buddies since elementary school, and their families were close. To say that was the day my love life went in a downward spiral would be an understatement. The first instance of perceived cheating event where I knew my ex couldn't be trusted was my senior year of high school. My ex and I had been dating on and off for a while at this point. One day during the summer I got invited to his house for a summer barbecue his parents were having. Almost everyone was outside besides my ex, and a few of my friends who I knew were there because of their Snapchat stories. I went into the house to look for my friends, and what I saw threw me. My former female best friend and my ex were laid up in bed together cuddling, and he was caressing her face, while another girl who was a friend of my former best friend was in the room egging them on. I couldn't believe what it was seeing. What made it worse was my brother was with me. My brother and my ex-best friend were romantically involved with each other. It was a gut punch to both of us. We went the usual high school traumatic love story, and eventually, when I went off to college, we lost contact. 2017, after graduating from college, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. June of that year, my guy best friend called me crying, informing me that the mother of his child had been cheating on him while at basic training in the army, and he found videos of her on their computer since the iCloud was connected on all devices. At the time, his daughter, my goddaughter, was staying with him, and he was doing his best to be a good dad while dealing with his emotions. I decided this was my sign to go back home and help my best friend while figuring my life out. When I got to the house, my ex was there. He was painting my goddaughter's room. At first, I didn't want to be there, but I stayed and we talked. About 3 months later, we decided to start over. He became the doting partner I always wanted. We went on dates, talked for hours, went to the pier at night to watch the waves crashing against the shoreline. It was fun. And then his ex-GF appeared. I'm not the jealous type, but I do know BS when I see it. They were continuously in contact, and it was starting to become inappropriate. Her calling and texting at all hours of the night. Calling him drunk, asking him to meet her. It was getting out of hand, and I had to put my foot down. Eventually, the calls and texts stopped, or so I thought. We moved to PA in 2018, and I thought this was the fresh start we needed. About 4 months later, I found out his ex had moved to PA as well, 15 minutes away from our house. I thought that can't be a coincidence. One night he agreed to go meet her to talk, because he saw how uncomfortable I was with the situation. But I told him he wasn't going alone. He agreed, but when I went to the bathroom to get ready, he left without me. It was at that point I knew neither of them could be trusted. At the time, I had figured out his Apple ID and password and tracked his location. He was at the club where his ex worked. I decided enough was enough. After Christmas there was noticeable shift between us, and he kept trying to figure out why I wasn't as emotionally or sexually invested in him. In my defense, I wasn't good at communication at this time, so the only reaction I knew was silence. He became more and more frustrated that I wouldn't sleep with him. At one point or another he asked why. And I told him, because I think you're sleeping with other people and I won't put myself in the position to catch anything. At this point you're thinking, why didn't you just leave? I couldn't. We had just renewed the lease, and I was stuck for a few more months. Things eventually calmed down between us, and we started to talk and communicate more. But something told me to be wary. We were supposed to go to NYC one weekend to support his dad's show in the Bronx, as he was a salsa and bachata singer. A really good one at that. I went to go get my hair and nails done, which I usually did every 2 weeks, but this time he was impatient. When I got home, he was dressed and walking out the door. I asked him, "Where are you going?" "I'm about to shower so we can leave. My bags are packed." He said to me, "You have your own car, you can drive to NYC. We don't always have to go places together." That made absolutely no sense to me. Why would we take 2 cars if we're going to the same place? He didn't give me a chance to respond. He closed the door and left. It takes approximately 2 hours with a little traffic to get to his parents' place in NYC. However, 4 hours had gone by and his parents hasn't seen him. They called me to see where we were, and I told them he left without me and didn't tell me why. They were just as confused as I was. About 6 hours later, he finally arrived at his parents' place looking tired when he FaceTimed me. I already knew what was up. I just wanted to see if he would lie about it. He didn't say a word. He chalked it up to traffic and he was hungry, so he stopped for food. His mom and I gave each other a look over the phone that solidified that we both knew he was lying. When he came back, I asked him what her name was. He called me crazy. And I told him I didn't feel like arguing, I just needed the truth. But the truth I got wasn't what I was expecting. It was like the floodgates opened and he couldn't stop. He came clean to me about cheating on me with my best friend, a few of the girls at his job, his ex-girlfriend, and a few girls he met on Instagram. My heart fell to my ass and I froze. The only thing I remember was throwing pots, pans, and books at him to the point he barricaded himself in our bedroom and didn't come out until my sister came and calmed me down. I went and got tested immediately to make sure he didn't give me anything I didn't know about.